Greetings, 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 and welcome to Tiffany Speaks True. Some of y'all probably like, oh, she went back to her hair. And then some of y'all who don't know me probably like, oh, new hair, who this? I had to let the lights go for a little while and just let my hair breathe and let my soul glow. I hope y'all caught the Coming to America too. Appreciate the movie. If you one of those who's been complaining about it, appreciate the movie. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about waiting on the Lord. Nobody likes to wait, right? Nobody. Because we've gone into this world where we want that instant gratification, right? Like I remember reading several times and even hearing people say the microwave was like the best invention ever because it gave us a quick fix when it comes to just popping something in the microwave and then you have a hot meal within a matter of minutes. uh, and that's pretty satisfying for a lot of people. And then years later they came out with all of these different articles, scientists and nutritionists that began to speak negatively of those microwave meals, and talk about how the processed foods and things. When you look at it from that aspect, it's like, okay, maybe quick isn't always, the best. Um, Even when it comes to technology, technology is that instant gratification. Technology is so fast, it's so much quicker because we want that instant gratification. We don't want to wait. We just don't want to wait. When you go into supermarkets now, you see the self checkout lines now. Well, let me not say now because it's been years now that self checkout has been in existence, and now technology is even more advanced. And now, when it comes to going into the service station or shopping period, it's so quick now. You don't have to wait and dig inside your wallet. If you're like me, where some of my wallets that I purchase, my cards get stuck in them. My cards or my ID, it gets stuck, and I have to wiggle it out of it. And sometimes I may even have to, hey, can you help me get this out? But now, technology, you can pay for a transaction with your phone now. Just putting your phone up against the keypad, and you can, you have Samsung Pay. I'm a Galaxy user, not an iPhone. I think Apple has whatever Apple has to pay. I don't know. I'm not an Apple person, but you guys, you know what I'm talking about. Is it Apple Pay? I don't know, whatever it is, but that's technology. It's instant, it's fast, you're in and out. We love that. When it comes to travel, we love the quickest way to get somewhere. Forget traveling from Memphis to California by car. What? No, we're gonna drive. Excuse me, not drive. We're gonna take a flight, or even when it comes to I saw a couple of, people mention, the road trips. I don't want to wait that long. I don't want to drive. It may be fun, but no, I want to get there quicker. I don't want to wait. Even when it comes to messages these days, we want to be messaged back quickly, right? He or she may get upset because the other one, didn't text back quickly. And now, we even have on the phones where you can see when somebody has read the text messages, or you can see when, like on Messenger, Facebook Messenger, You can see when a person has opened the message, and it's like, dang, I could have very easily opened it when I was in the middle of doing something and I didn't have time to respond and I got busy and I just forgot. But now I remember to text you back or respond, but we don't want to wait. We just don't want to wait when it comes with letters, sending letters in the mail. We okay, priority ship it, or even now when emails hit the scene, you there's a quick way to even email. Some of us may even exchange emails when we're dating someone, and just quick ways to respond. Okay, let me not do the letter, let me just send an email, send it via email that way, because we just want that instant gratification. We don't want to wait on a lot of things, but let's talk about some things that we actually do have to wait on. Those things that don't always come with a quick fix. Um, I don't know why weight loss just popped in my mind. I didn't even have weight loss on my notes, but weight loss, that just popped in my mind. We want that quick fix when it comes to being a particular size, fitting in a particular pair of pants or dress, or whatnot. We want the quick way. I've tried everything. We're quick to say that. I tried everything while still throwing back sodas, still eating all this sugar, still eating all of this, meat, all this, steak all the time, junk food. But I've tried everything, And some people, it is actually true. A lot of people have tried a lot of different things and they do struggle with the weight loss. So, let me get this quick fix and just go and have weight loss surgery, or let me just do these wraps where these body wraps where it'll look like I've lost the weight just for this special occasion, just for my reunion, just for this dinner party, but that instant gratification. But, um, some things you can't get a quick fix on. Some things actually do have to take time, and some things, you know that you have to wait, but the waiting just gets hard. The waiting process is really it gets really hard. So I want to talk tonight to those people who are in a waiting process, um, and that can look different for all of us. Some of us have experienced these different things that um, other people have experienced, and some of us, hope that we never experience another form of waiting that someone else has to. So some of you right now may be in the waiting game of a promotion. You know, you need you're waiting on this promotion on your job because maybe you're burnt out. You're burnt out with what you're doing right now. You feel like, okay, I need something new, but in the same, with the same company that I'm working for. Your promotion, the wait for the promotion may be for various reasons. Maybe you need that financial increase, or maybe it's like more of a mental thing. If you're working with some a group of people or someone who you feel like, okay, if I have to work with this person for an X number of time, I'm gonna end up losing my mind, or I'm gonna end up losing my job because I cannot work with this person. So you may, be in that waiting process of waiting to get elevated in the company with another position, just to get out of the situation that you're in. You may be in college, in undergrad or grad or even postgraduate school, and the process just seems so long. And he's like, oh God, I'm just ready. I can't do this no more. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm about ready to quit. I don't think I'm gonna make it to the end. Hang tight with me if this is you. I've man, I'm actually there right now. Even with the promotion too, I'm there. I'm in that place right now. Promotion and education, marriage. If you're waiting for marriage, if you've been waiting in this waiting game for so long and what seems like forever, and then you may get to a point where you begin to speak negatively to yourself. You let that doubt and even that fear creep in that it'll never happen. I'll never get married, or I'll never have that position. I'll never buy this home. You have all of these things that the negativity to creep in and the doubt to creep in, and you begin to second guess things. When it not maybe not even just marriage all the way, if you're not waiting for marriage, but if you're just waiting for real love, and it seems like it's not gonna happen, and then you think to yourself, okay, maybe I should just go on a date Earl. Okay, Earl isn't bad looking, or Veronica. I mean, she's okay, but it's just not really what I want. Then you lower your standards. You begin to lower your standards from what you want and desire to just to be with someone, because you're tired of waiting. You're tired of waiting. You're tired of being lonely and feeling whatever that you're feeling. If you're waiting for healing, you've been sick for a really long time, and battling whatever an illness may be, or even a physical ailment that you may have. You've been battling this situation for so long, and you're just getting tired of it, and you're tired of waiting to be healed, and you're just tired of just waiting for better days to come, and just for a little bit more pressure to come. You're tired of waiting to have a little light to shine on you. You're tired of being in the darkness, or maybe even you're wanting your life to end because of the wait, because of the situation that you're in. I don't think I can hold on any longer. It doesn't look like it's gonna get, greater for me. If you're one of those who are waiting to have children, this can go both ways, men and women, because just as women are waiting for marriage and real love, men are too. Men are too. Even children, men are waiting to have children too, and a family too. But if you're one of those who's waiting to have a child, to be blessed with the family, and you get to a point where, okay, me and my wife, we've been trying to have a child for, all these years, and it hasn't happened yet. Or if you feel like, if a woman who may feels like, I don't know if my womb will be able to carry a child, or even if you did receive that word that you can't carry a child, or whatever that you may be waiting on in regard to you being told not right now in having a child. I'm talking to you. If you're waiting to move from one city to the next, or one state, or even a country to the next, if you're just waiting to get out because you need a new scene, you just need something new. You may be in a city that has you so depressed. You may be, whatever your living arrangements may be, even if it's, you're just waiting to get you a place in the same city, but you need to move out of the situation that you're in, the living arrangement that you may have. You may be sleeping on someone's sofa right now and just waiting for, the opportunity to come. You're waiting on God to bless you some kind of way where you can get out of that living situation and into a better living situation. If you're living with anyone, a friend, or even, a lover, and you're ready to get out of that situation, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna come soon enough for you to be able to change, your circumstance. If you're waiting for finances, if you're waiting for a financial increase, be it whatever way, be it from, you waiting on a check from your employer, if you were promised a bonus, or if you're waiting on funds from your parents or a friend or someone who may have your stimulus, your income tax check, any money, any financial increase that you may be waiting on because you just need it to come through. It's like, okay, come on, I need this money. My utilities will be cut off if I don't get this money by this date here. You're extending and extending everything. You're waiting for extension after extension. You're requesting extension after extension because you're just trying to hold on, and you're praying and you're asking God, come through. Or how long, God? How long do I have to wait, God? How long do I have to wait on these things? Where are you, God? When are you going to show up, God? If you're one of those people who may be, even someone who's incarcerated, you've been sentenced to X number of years or even months. You're waiting the wait game. You're waiting until you can get your freedom. You're just waiting. It's the waiting process where you're left in your thoughts to just think and think like it has to be something better than this. It has to get better than what I'm experiencing and what I'm feeling. God, why me? If you're in any type of bondage situation that you can't get out of, you're in bondage to maybe TV, maybe social media. If you feel like I'm engaging in this too much, it's consuming me. This is taking all of my time. It's taking all of me spiritually, mentally. Just it's so many different things that we can be in bondage of. Oftentimes, we think of uh, like sex. If you can't, you just you okay, I really don't want to be doing what I'm doing, but I don't know how to get out of this situation that I'm in. If you're searching for that freedom and waiting for that freedom, and you're like, how long, God? How long do I have to stay in this position? Even when it comes to surgery, if you've ever had to wait on someone to come out of surgery, and the waiting process is like, oh my goodness, this is taking so long. Lord, is everything all right? Lord, they said the surgery was only going to take 4 hours, but it's been 7 hours. Or, Lord, did they run into any problems while he or she, my loved one, is on the table? Excuse me. It's just the waiting process is always hard, especially in situations like a surgery, especially because anything can go wrong in a surgery. If you're waiting for a lump sum of money, a settlement, because you haven't been working for X number of time, and your bills, they're starting to, things are starting to lapse on you. You can't move and shake the way you need to, not just want, but need to, because you're waiting on this check. I remember the days when you had to wait on the mail. Some of us still have those days where we haven't heard that the check is on the way yet. You just know that the check is coming, sometime this month, and you're checking the mail every day, and it's disappointment after disappointment because you're looking for that check. You're waiting for, your financial blessing. Even when it comes to maturity, if you know, and if you know deep down, okay, I need to work on this. There is this issue that I have that I know I need to mature from. I need to grow up in this area. I need to work on these things right here. And you've been asking God to help you increase in this area, and you're still waiting for it to happen. When it comes to emotions, when it comes to feelings, for as long as I can remember, since I was a young lady, I would ask God, like my anger, my attitude. I had a bad attitude when I was a teenager, and I would pray and pray and pray and ask God to help me to have a better attitude. Help me to, because once those proverbs will get into your head, that like the counselor would have posted on the wall, or the schools would have posted. Your attitude, your aptitude determines your attitude determines your aptitude. Those kinds of proverbs that you would hear, and that stuck with me because I believed it. And for that reason, I knew I needed to have a better way of communicating with people, not getting, so upset, or even to be nasty when addressing people. So I would pray and ask God, God, help me to improve my attitude in the area. I'm talking to all of y'all, whatever area you may be in that I just hit, I'm talking to you, because, all of us should be at a place where we're asking God to mature us in some particular area. Because remember, I did, a teaching where I mentioned one of my favorite scriptures is being perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Be perfect, because being perfect is whole. So if you have those areas that you need to grow in, like if you're bitter, if somebody tells you that you're bitter, listen. If someone mentions to you that you're arrogant, or someone whatever they may mention, just listen and maybe ask them, well, what do you mean, or what signs do I exhibit? One of my friends told me about a month ago. I think it's been about a month now. He told me that I was pushy. Excuse me. He told me that I was he I think he asked me, why are you so pushy? Or either he told me why I was pushy. And I didn't see what he was saying, but after we got off the phone, I thought about it. And I understood, where he was coming from when he said that, because of, my different stance on things. And so I was like, okay, let me take a step back and let me assess that, and change my approach at different things, because I didn't, want to be in denial that what he was seeing was, it could possibly have some truth to it. And when I thought about it, I actually did, begin to see that, okay, yeah, I think I am, pushy sometimes, and so that's something that, I have to work on and mature in that area when it comes to, me just, taking a step back, at different things. If you're one of those who's waiting on, your season to come, like, okay, this is my time to shine, and you still not shining, and you're like, okay, God, come on, what's going on? When is my time coming? Everybody else having their time. I've been driving this same car for 10 years now, or I've been living in this living situation for, how long now? Or, I haven't elevated yet. I've been faithful, God. When is my time? When is my season coming? You're waiting. You're in the waiting game. If you're, one of those, this is me too. If you're waiting on a promise, if you're waiting on a promise from God, to be fulfilled, you're in the waiting process too. And oftentimes when we're in this waiting process, if anything that I just mentioned, if this is you, listen. If it could be, I'm sure it's a lot of other things that I haven't hit on, but if you're waiting for something from God, then you know that that waiting process can be so difficult and so hard to do, because we all want the instant gratification. We want the quickness. Even when we understand that it is a waiting process, we feel like, sometimes, like Medea said, sometimes God take too long. Sometimes we like, okay, now God, I've been waiting for 2 months on this. Or if you're like me, been waiting on a promise. It's one promise that I've been waiting on for 10 years. 10 years. And I'm still believing God for this particular promise. And I know it's going to happen. But as you wait, you begin to worry. You begin to worry about, all the things that can go wrong, that may go wrong, and then you even may want to throw in the towel while you're waiting, because the waiting, it is hard. It can get so hard when you're waiting on a blessing, a breakthrough, for God to show up, and perform a miracle. It gets so hard just waiting, because it gets heavy on you, because the time that you have to wait, you also have time to think. And as I stated before, the thinking can set in some doubt, some confusion, and even mistrust too. Um, and you may end up doing something stupid while you're waiting, because I can't wait any longer. So, you know what? I tried waiting until I got married to have sex. So, you know what? I'm just gonna go back and start having sex, because I don't want to do this any longer. I've been waiting for 2 years now. I've been waiting for 3 years now. Or, however long you may be waiting, to have that child. Um, Let me just go and, go try to have a child with someone else. And not my wife. Or, let me go and try to get knocked up by another guy and not my husband. Um, we start to do stupid things when we don't know how to wait, and we don't know, what to do during the waiting process, or we just don't want to wait anymore because we've lost faith in whatever, it may be, and we just end the wait. We just end whatever it is that we're waiting on. We take matters in our own hand. Okay, well, I'm tired of waiting on God to come through with a financial blessing. I'm going to go rob this person. I'm going to steal this car. I'm going to, take this grocery store. You just, you do something stupid in the waiting process because you feel like God is taking too long. I'm talking to this entire group, whomever is waiting for something, even if you've been waiting for 5 years, 10 years, some may even have been waiting for 20 years. But I want to give you some encouragement to wait while you run this race. The Christian race, or the race of the believer, is such a hard race to run. It is such a hard race to run. For years I have said this, because I've been running with God for a long time, a long, long time. And just about every category that I just mentioned, I have been in that category, or I am currently in that category. Just about every last one of them. And so I understand. I know how to, empathize with those who may be, waiting, and who know what it's like to be at the end. And it seems, I'll never get to this point, you know, where your heart just becomes so heavy. And it makes you think God has forgotten about you, or it makes you think, he's not listening to me. Or maybe God doesn't want this for me, or was that really God who promised me this? Or or is it really worth the wait? Well, you know what? Never mind. I don't even want that. Okay, let me just get this right here. You start to settle then, and because of the doubt has creeped in, or you feel like, well, if I just accept something smaller, then the wait is over. I don't have to wait as long as I waited before. But I know that this is a cliche, and I also know that it's something that you don't want to hear, because, like I said, I've been there many times, and I'm even there at this point right now. But I know this cliche to be true. Be patient and trust God. Be patient and trust God. I can't tell you the number of heartbreaks I have had for various reasons, not just, love with a guy, but different kinds of heartbreaks that I have had. And I'm still in this fight. I'm still in this fight. I'm still running to do the right thing. I'm still, holding on to my faith. Even, when situations arise and it seems like, you're always getting the short end of the stick, or it feels like, everybody is winning but you. Or it seems like, nothing is going right. And for years, nothing has been going right. When is it going to ease up? When is it going to let up? Especially if you have lost a loved one, and you're coping with that, and then you have another heartbreak that arises, and now you're coping with that, and then you got your boss on the job or a colleague on the job who's giving you crap, and then you're having a fight with your mom or a relative, all of this on top of things, and it just becomes so hard. But I want to read Isaiah to you during this time, because it is a great scripture that offers that comfort, and it offers that encouragement. He gives power to the weak, and to those who have no might, he increases strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. That's Isaiah 40:29-31. So let's get an understanding of this weight. Um, And just let's look at a little. Let's look at it from the Hebrew perspective. Uh, the term wait in Hebrew, it means chavah, Qavah, and it just means to take time. Time. Waiting is time. Or to wait or linger, to linger around. But when they look at when it's discussed from in the Hebrew perspective, when it's discussed uh, with Yahweh, it mentions in their studies to while you wait, you linger around in the presence of God. You linger around in the presence. So I like to just break words apart and phrases apart. But when you linger around, you're just hanging around, right? You're just hanging around, like loitering. Maybe not loitering, because loitering, Okay, well, let's go there with loitering. How beggars will just linger around the store or the parking lot waiting to ask the right person for some money. Excuse me. I don't want my tea to get cold. Um, but to linger, to linger in the presence of God is just hanging around. You're just hanging around and waiting in His company. And it mentions to gather with Him. I think it's so beautifully imagined when you're waiting on God in that aspect, because as you wait, definitely it comes that time when you don't want to wait any longer, and that's when you need to linger around Him and just come into His presence and just wait, just linger there on Him for the gathering. And then it mentions you when you come and linger and gather with Him, you bind yourself up together with Him. But think about the waiting. In your waiting process, a great way to wait is to have conversation, right? A great way to wait is to have conversation. So when you go out to dinner, or even if you're cooking, if you're if you ever have date night inside your place or his place, and you're cooking together, and it's a particular dish that you have to put in the oven, and let's say this dish is going to take an hour and 10 minutes to cook. So, what do you do while you wait? You have conversation, right? Same as a restaurant. When you order your food, you got to wait for your food to come. And if it happens to be a crowded restaurant, you may have to wait a little longer. So you want to be in good company because of conversation. Because when the conversation is dope, when it's fire, it doesn't really seem like you're waiting so long because the conversation is rolling. Think of it the same as waiting with God, especially when you're at that point of being tired of waiting, or it looks like it's not gonna come through. Just go into His presence Go take that time to just kava. Go into his presence and wait and linger there with him and bind yourself up with him. Bind as in wrapping yourself up with him. And when you do, have that conversation with him. Have that conversation with God just as you would have that conversation as you wait for your dinner to be cooked. You're not going to be rushing and saying, well, why is this something that meatloaf? I love to cook meatloaf. Why is this turkey meatloaf taking so long? Or I don't even know why I said turkey meatloaf. I don't really eat beef. That's why I said turkey meatloaf. Whatever, however you cook your meatloaf. Why is this beef meatloaf or turkey meatloaf taking so long? You're not gonna pull it out the oven, because if you do take it out of the oven prior to the time that's required for it to cook, then it's ruined. It's ruined when you pull it out too soon and you don't allow the process to finish. So just wait. Continue to wait. But as you wait, think kavah. Qavah. Think kavah. Because again, this is where you linger in the presence of God, and you have that conversation with him. You bind yourself up with him. So, binding together is just like tying your shoes, right? Tying a knot with your shoes. You wrap it together. But this is you and the Lord wrapping yourselves together with each other. And with you being wrapped up around the Lord and him wrapping himself up around you, you become intertwined, you become entangled. It's like I said, it's like a knot, like a bow. All bows are not easy to unravel when it's tied accurately, or even a knot. Depending on the kind of knot that you tie, on how well you tie that knot, how well you get in the presence of God. It's not easy to untangle it or unwind it. It's not so easy to do it, depending on the way you wrap yourself up with him and the way he wraps himself up with you. But we don't want to hear this often, because we don't really want to wait. But we hate to wait. We just hate to wait. But Psalms 25:5 says, "Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. On you I will wait all the day." All the day I will wait on you. This is so beautiful. Those are like, for me, the kind of scriptures that I like to post on my wall, or on my bathroom mirror, because it's a reminder of the kind of relationship that we need to have with the Father. But while we wait, we have to learn to trust in the Lord, even when we're in pain, even when it seems that it's just so hard to talk to him, because, we want to blame God for all of our heartaches and our pain, the things that we go through. God, why did you allow that to happen to me? God, why didn't you intervene sooner? You could have stopped this. You knew what was going to happen, because of, I need to plug my charger up, because of the pain that we're in, and because of our love for him and knowing who he is. He's all knowing. We feel like, God, you could have stopped that. You could have, made it happen sooner. You could have granted me with what I asked you for sooner, instead of making me wait a little longer. Excuse me, I need to plug up my device. I do apologize for not having this ready prior to starting this video. This will not happen again. My apologies. Okay. So, all right. Um, yes. Waiting while even while we're in pain. We're wanting God to make things end things quicker for us because we don't want that suffering. We don't want to keep holding on to whatever it is that we're feeling, that because oh, oh, even though I've been waiting a long time, like waiting just sucks. Waiting isn't always good, like when somebody tell you, well, you just I don't want to hear that. I don't feel like being positive right now. Many of us go through this, even when we know it to be true, that waiting for the process to be completed is the best thing for us to do. So I like it when the scripture says that when in the waiting process, we start to get weak, and we feel like we can't do this anymore. But I know many of you can agree and testify to when times have gone so bad and so hard for you. It's like whoosh, God comes in and he gives you that burst of energy out of nowhere, and now it's like, oh, I'm ready now. I'm ready to go the next round, or I'm ready to go 5 more rounds now, because this energy has come from somewhere. My strength has been renewed, and that's even what Isaiah mentions about they who waits on the Lord, they shall renew their strength. But starting out, God mentioned it's mentioned in the scripture, that He gives power to those who are weak, and He increases their strength, for those uh, who don't have any might. He gives you their strength. But when it doesn't look like he's there, God is there. He's always there. He's always in his children's lives. Even when you have felt like you weren't sure that God was there or not. Just take it from me. He's there. Even when he's not responding back to you, he's there. He's watching. He's listening. I mentioned to you guys in one of the, I think it was the last video, I don't know which one, but I remember mentioning how when you're talking to him and you don't get a response, your angels are watching. We have angels around us who report back, what's going on. So God is always watching. He has eyes everywhere, ears everywhere. Remember, he's the God. He's all knowing. He's omniscient. He knows everything that's going on. And he's so timely, because oftentimes he will step in just when you're about to break, when you feel like I can't go on any longer with this feeling. This feeling is just too much for me to continue to hold on to. I'm ready to end this thing, be it ending your life, or ending the situation by doing something stupid, to just break it. But I want you guys to think about Abraham. Remember that Abraham waited for an heir. Remember when he was just waiting and waiting, and he was like, I'm just going to have to, my servant is going to have to be my heir. And God, told him, no, you're going to have a son. I'm going to give you a son who's going to be your heir. And I'm going to make you a great nation through this heir. And it just seemed like it was no hope for Abraham, because he was old. He was old. His wife was barren. Sarah was way up in age, and it was no hope. There was a hopeless situation, but God came through. God came through for him. Abraham was 100 years old when Isaac was born. 100 years old. God always keeps his promises. For those who are waiting on God, waiting on a promise that God deliver, keep waiting. Just keep waiting. Don't throw in the towel. Finish strong. God always keeps his promises. Always. And then remember Jacob. For those who are waiting on marriage, who's waiting on their spouse, you know how long Jacob waited for his wife? Which the funny story, such a funny story. I won't get all into the story, but Jacob waited a very long time for his wife. Remember, he was working for Laban, and Laban told him, prior to, Laban told him, if you work for me for 7 years, then I'll give you my daughter, Rachel. He badly wanted Rachel. He wanted Rachel to be his wife. Rachel was younger than Leah. And so Jacob, he worked for him for 7 years to get that woman. For 7 years, he worked for Laban. And then when the time came, when the 7 years were up, Laban didn't even give him Rachel. Laban gave him Leah. He gave him Leah, and Jacob, he tricked him, which is a funny story because Jacob was once the trickster, and now the trickster got tricked. But I won't get all into that. But Jacob was like, you tricked me. That's not who I asked for. I didn't want her. I wanted Rachel. I wanted my wife, And Laban was telling him about the rules. Well, hey, dude, listen, we don't marry off the young one before we marry off the old one. So he told him, if you work for me for another 7 years, then I'll give you Leah. And Jacob wanted Rachel so bad that he agreed to it. He agreed to it, and he agreed to work another 7 years just so he can get his wife Rachel. So, and I think it was like a week or so later after marrying Leah that he was given Rachel. Can't really remember, but it wasn't. It wasn't the full 7 years, but that's a long time. That's a really long time to wait on a spouse. At 100 years old for Abraham to wait to get the child. That's a long time, and then to wait, 7 years for a particular person. That's a long time. While you work and make somebody rich, you're waiting to get their daughter. That's a long time. And then even King David was anointed when he was just a boy. Remember when Samuel went and anointed him, he was very young and he had to wait. David had to wait until he could become king, because Saul was still ruling as king. So now here he is, waiting to become king. It was 15 years that David waited. 15 long years that David waited to be king. That's a long time, but he never, threw in the towel. He waited his process out. He learned while waiting, became a mighty warrior while waiting, went on throughout he was elevated throughout the army as he waited to become king. So, it was a process. That was just the waiting process. And then our own Lord and Savior is waiting. Jesus is currently waiting right now. He's waiting to return to us. He has to wait. Because remember, Scripture says that no man knows the day or the hour. The angels in heaven don't know, and the Son does not know. So Jesus don't even know when he's going to return. Only the Father knows. So you don't think that Jesus is eagerly waiting to come back for his bride? The church is his bride. So you don't think that he's waiting? If Jacob waited 7 years for his bride, look at how long Jesus is having to wait. That's a long time. He's been over 2,000 years. That's a long time, and he's still waiting for the Father to say, "Okay, now it's time for you to go and get your bride." So if Jesus had to endure, we have to endure too. If he had to endure the wait, we have to endure the wait too, you guys. But there is such great purpose in the wait, such great purpose. You get to build your faith and your trust in God while you wait on Him. God's plan is always better than our own plan, and He does have a plan. I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, plans to give you hope in the future. God's plan is so much better